Hey Virgo, welcome to your August reading. I'm doing things a little bit differently this month. I'm kind of doing it in a kind of past, present, future kind of way. I will explain as we go on. But yeah, doing things a little bit different. Kind of like 3 card placement, but with 6 plus sometimes depending on what comes out. Yours is pretty simple. Okay, so this position is the past position that we're reading now. Now, I am finding as I do these readings, Virgo, that this is representing the experience that we have had in the past and also what we should be bringing with us from those experiences and what we should be leaving behind. So the tools that we can use with the energy we're working with now and the things we need to let go and make sure that they're not coming with us or staying with us now. So you have Freya. Okay, interesting one in the past position. So you've had quite a fertile time. I'm feeling like this is kind of recent past is what this is giving me. Of really kind of reaping the rewards of the efforts that you have been putting into an area of your life. Now I feel like this is in a past place because I feel as though it's kind of like you've fulfilled that area. So whatever it is that you kind of put your heart and soul into, what you were building or what your priorities were before, it's like that kind of completed its cycle. You grew that to kind of either where, I want to say more like where you wanted it to be, like your aspiration in that area. I'm just gonna sneeze in a second. This happens every time I record. Bless me, and that was a very loud one. Sorry, Virgo. Every single time I've recorded, I'm sneezing and all sorts. Apologies. Anyway, it feels as though, so whatever this area where your focus has mainly been, it's kind of like you've grown it to kind of, again, where you wanted it to be, but also maybe taken it as far as it needs to go or should go. So keep that in mind of letting go and moving on. I do get this hesitation of kind of wanting to hold on to what was or what has been for so long. So everything is flourishing right now into the sense of I feel like this is not something you're like by moving on and moving on to different things, it's not going to make that abundance grow and fade. I kind of want you to realize that. Like sometimes we can, but with anything in life, say like we have a home and we decide that we're going to focus on doing the garden. The garden gets to that space where it's flourishing, we have so much, yes, you maintain it, but you no longer need to keep planting things, you no longer need to give it your main focus because the garden is perfect. It's exactly what you wanted, you did what you needed to do there, all it needs now is maintenance and love, right? And that's the same, I feel, in regards to this situation in a past sense of like, you don't need to keep giving it your all anymore. You just maintain, you just enjoy and reap the rewards of whatever that is. So that is literally what I'm talking about, wherever your main focuses have been in up until this point in your past sense. I will touch on this again once I get to your current because I feel like this is the point that will help with that. Moving on to our next card, Wheel of Fortune. You really have been creating and paving the way for yourself. The Wheel of Fortune is a really great card, especially having it in this position and having it in. I just gotta get rid of that notification so it doesn't keep making noises. It's a really good card to have in a past position. I feel as though it's sort of saying, hey, look, you've done really well of manifesting your life the way you have so far to this date. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is generally the card that's like things changing at your will. It's like you are the one guiding the wheel, if that makes sense. And this is what I feel for you. You have really guided your life to this point. You created this. And I think that there may be some hesitation with moving forward, again, moving on to new and other things, or even changing your perspective on what's important to you. I'll use an example, like, for example, when we're children and we move from that stage of where toys our love and moving on to, more grown-up things. Sometimes you have that nostalgic of holding on to those things, like, because you loved it. You don't want to play with it anymore, but letting go of it is hard. However, you know that, you're growing up, your interests are changing, but you kind of think, but I always feel so bad for my teddies because I sleep with them every night and because you become attached to them as though they're people, right? And have that longing and like, how can I possibly let you go when you've, been there, support for me, you've been that thing that I've enjoyed for so many years. Now I feel as though like you need to realize like that Again, you don't have to throw them all out and give them all away. You can still put them on a shelf, have them somewhere where you can look back at them. But again, they're not going to fulfill the purpose that they once did because, again, you've evolved and grown there. And that kind of analogy is what's popping up here. I feel as though you need to realize, like, whatever you've had in life that has been important to you, it's always going to be a part of you. It's going to be a piece of you. And I really feel like I have to keep stressing this to you, Virgo, as though it's like you don't want to move on to something new. But at the same time, I do feel like you're ready to, and it's there for you, waiting for you, and you are the one in charge that is creating however this situation is holding out for you in this current sense. So if you feel stagnant, it's because, again, that kind of sentimental feelings and values that just don't serve you anymore moving forward, if you wish to not stay in this exact spot, which nobody should anyway. But again, we all go through things at different stages. But the thing with this is like you have always carved the way, you have created this moment that you have now, this you that is evolving. Now, in our current energy, it's basically saying that this is a very inspiring time. We have Awen. This came up a lot, I think, for Leo, actually, Virgo. So if you have Leo in your chart, Virgo, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, guys. This could be very important to you as well. Now, this is a card of awakening. This totally makes sense of why you could be struggling to, again, it's like struggling to evolve. However, we don't have a choice and you're going through this. And we have these kind of aches and pains, which are not physical. Sometimes they can come out as physical. Anything that we're going through spiritually or internally, the body will react to too, because you're a whole being experiencing the experiences that you are. Sometimes we're just not really aware of the why, and we're trying to look for very mundane solutions to things that it's complex. It's all of that. It's the mundane and it's the spiritual. It's experiencing things at the same time. So this card is saying that you're going through an awakening, new ideas, new inspiration is coming to you. It's saying just flow with it and trust in that feelings. She is saying be kind to yourself, and she is saying understand that you are still in control, you are in charge. Now the things with awakenings, when we go through a spiritual awakening, it often can feel like it's all way beyond our control. To an extent it is, in the fact that I feel as though once we begin that process, there's no going back, but you also don't want to go back. And this is the thing, like sometimes in those moments we think, oh my God, this is just too much now. I need to go back to some normality, or this is so crazy, everyone around me thinks I'm insane because all of a sudden I have these new ideals, and you can't help but all of a sudden have this new perspective that you just want to share sometimes. Or it could be the point that you're literally dropping people because they don't share these values, so it can be really impacting your actual normal life that you are very comfortable with. And it's sort of saying be kind to yourself, because even though it feels like you're not in control, you are, because you're realizing that actually my values are changing. Like I just don't want to be around that person that makes me feel that way anymore. That friendship's a little bit like, was great at the time. We had good times. Now I've outgrown that kind of connection. Oh, I only want that. You know, I mean, sometimes you have that friend who's the friend you go out with. Often they are Virgos, so you can probably relate to this. I say in my life, like whenever I have had a Virgo that's been close to me, they're definitely a party animal. They're definitely the social ones that, because I'm not particularly social, I am and I can be when, again, a Virgo drags me out, and I'm in my element because I'm comfortable with that person. And so I would say, like, you may be finding that I just don't want to be the party animal anymore as much. Like I want to every, like maybe 2 weekends a month, or, you know, limited less. I'm saying that amount because Virgo, I feel as though it just doesn't suit your energy to be a house elf half the time. You thrive in experiences. And this is a time of you getting to know yourself and what you want. But what I'm saying is you might be like saying, I need to limit that now. It's not really serving my next aspiration, which might be family. It might be career. It might be that you need to move away from those aspirations because that's where your focus has always been on. And maybe you are feeling that lack of being social because, again, your priorities were and energy on that life path was focusing on this area. I do feel like, Virgo, that you're in this space where whatever you have felt is right for you at that time is where you went for. And sometimes often again, that leaves you staying in that space because it's what you know, it's what you thrive in. But I feel like you are fundamentally changing in whatever those values are. So be kind to yourself and try and understand, again, that you are in control in this because you are evolving in your personal growth, in your life growth. Because again, as we get older, we are going to change so many times, and it's just the natural cycles of life. I do feel astrologically to say to you that none of us are doing anything later in life these days. Like, it's happening later in life to obviously people of older generations in this generation. What I'm saying is the astrology at the moment, obviously this has happened like 400 years ago or whatever. Don't take that from words. That's literally me just exaggerating dates or over or under exaggerating. But what I'm saying is right now, again, we're at this new evolutionary stage where you are being pushed to make sure that we're making things be in alignment with who we are, and there really is not an escape from this of any generation, of any age, but it is actually a natural cycle that absolutely everybody has always been through. But astrologically, it's expanded, it is pushing, it's like a mother, really. And that's how I'm finding the astrology at the moment. A mother will make the hard choices that for their children that they cannot make for themselves. They can be cruel sometimes, like come across as cruel. A mother is not cruel intentionally. I know not all mothers, but let's just go from the basis of what a mother is meant to be, I suppose. But sometimes they seem cruel to be kind. You know, they will say, no, you can't have that chocolate because it's going to make you chunky. It's bad for your teeth, whatever the reasons. So we'll be like, damn it, universe, why are you doing this to me? Because again, it's in your best interest for the goals that you're aspiring for. They will nurture and love you through this. We have that energy here too. It's not all negative. But again, when we are going through things that make us go, whoa, okay, this is a bit intense, we can get that feeling of resentment towards the parent energy. So keep that in mind. This is the Fool card next, and this is perfect again. It's like it's unknown energy to you. The Fool card is really great in this position, and all of your tarot cards that I have here are upright. So it's sort of really pushing you in a very positive way during this time, Virgo. I actually would say that all energies are supporting you right now, and it's saying go for it. Make those risks. Now, the Fool card is literally about not necessarily knowing the outcome, but also not really minding. And I do feel like, Virgo, you have this energy in you naturally to kind of just be like, fudge it, I'm going for it. And that is exactly the energy that I want you to ride on a little bit more. It's about kind of facing the world, not knowing what's coming. Again, so stop looking too far ahead, focus on the now, and just when you're thinking of what's ahead, be like, I can have what I want, but how I get there is part of the journey. What do I need to do this? Asking yourself the questions that are going to be productive and leading you there, not the what ifs, not if the buts. They are questions that you don't need to know because you all know what if, when that what if is happening or not happening. But focusing on that, I feel like may hinder you. And I feel like here, that's why not holding on to what was. I do feel like, again, you are just worried that, you built something up so much to now that by changing it, you're worried about what that will look like over here. And it's saying, stop worrying, because a little bit of change is always been beneficial to everybody when they're not trying to freaking stay in the past. Anyway, this is future. This is possible outcomes, possible energy that we're moving towards if we obviously listen over here. Be that fool, take those healthy risks, and don't overstress the nerves, the worries, the fears, the things that we make up that prevent us from actually taking those risks and living our life to the fullest. So over here in the possible outcomes, we have the solitary, dedication, self-love, and focus. It's definitely a time to start focusing on oneself. This makes sense over here. When you go for an awakening, I am getting this kind of very spiritual evolution for you, Virgo. So I keep touching on that. You kind of sometimes you'll go through this where you're actually this is how it was for me, which is out of character for me anyway. So for me, it was very much like, whoa, this is insane. I was very outgoing. I was very much feeling like I know everything. I feel everything. It's all channeling through me. I feel so great right now, buzzing and sharing wisdom, sharing my experience, telling people all the crazy things that I'm coming across, and self-discoveries. But then after all of that process, once it's kind of like flourished through me and out of me and channeled all the way through, I then went into hermit mode. And I've been in that hermit mode probably for about 3 years, and that's why I have this channel, to try and keep myself connected to my people, in a way, because I hadn't been in a very, I mean, I've been through so much in this time, on a very mundane level. I had needed to let go of a lot of things, which means I've been through some very hard times over this time. So I have hermited. Now that I feel is natural after your awakening, is to go into this hermit, and it's kind of like a time where you are taking inventory of all you learned, but then you're getting the very real lessons of making sure that you're sticking to the cycle and not keeping repeating patterns. It's about breaking them now. You're awakened to the kind of meaning of yourself, of your own purpose. Now you'll lose it again and you'll regain it, and it'll be a bit backwards and forwards. And that's why we feel this urge to kind of just take ourselves away from the spotlight a little bit, to make sure that we are taking care of watering this plant. And that's what I want you to start in the present, working towards this, so that you can, again, continue. Sorry, I can feel my throat getting tickly. 2 seconds. Continue with this growth, and realizing that sometimes we've been too much in, I want to say over social, and this is what I'm getting, so I'm just going to say it as it's coming, because it's quite weird. It's like we're being too much around everyone else, that we've never really sat with ourselves to contemplate what we want from life, because we've just literally been living life day to day, which I do always say to me, live in this moment, live in the now. But for you guys, I feel like it's about taking yourself out at the moment to actually have something a little bit more deep. And this awakening, I feel, will open you up to that. But this solitary card is telling me it's time to get deep, but make sure you're taking care. And this will be about discovering what you actually need to thrive. So quite interesting. Yeah, so you're definitely going places. So this is quite weird. So the solitary is giving me this time for, taking care of your needs, but also the chariot is sort of saying, like, you are gaining a whole lot of wisdom over here in the present. And this is what this chariot is telling me, is like, okay, so you've gained all this mass, and now you're going places. You're able to move forward. And I do feel like this past place is saying that you felt kind of as though you had everything you needed over here. And this is telling you, well, do you though? So presently you're a bit confused, because you're like, well, yeah, I feel like it was okay. And this is going, no, because look where you haven't given attention to. And it'll be very personal to you and very in-depth to yourself. And then the chariot's saying, and this is going to take you places. This is going to next level you. So what you thought was great, we're going to show you that there's still better. There's still more, because there always is. Sorry for the interruption. I'm going to read the chariot again, because I was interrupted by my son crying. So, as I was saying, I don't know when I'm going to cut this, so I might repeat things, I might not, so I apologize if I repeat what I've just said, but just to get the message across. So as I was saying, I believe that all of what you're going through right now is basically all this wisdom that you're going, and it's going to help you to basically realize that you are really actually moving on, you're going places. And I feel like it's all this wisdom that will help you to move forward in your life. It's like next leveling. You are really moving on to this next level, which I feel like will bring and invite new people in. So I feel as though this could potentially be people who are generally here to support you. I feel as though you don't necessarily have that right now, or that maybe there's certain groups that you're moving away from to move towards other groups that are specifically there more to support your needs that maybe you've not had before. I feel like you've always chose somebody who's been much more as though like a loyalty over quality, if this makes sense. Like someone's just always been there. You give them a call, they'll answer the phone. I mean, these are great things for somebody to have, apart from like it's just someone out of convenience a little bit is what it feels like. I hope this makes sense to you, Virgo, on what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that the people you have are not great, that like loyalty is a good thing. However, sometimes, even the worst people can be loyal. I mean, look at gangs. It's full of loyalty. People are loyal for all the wrong reasons. And I feel as though like the people that you are hoping to attract or that you will be moving towards are people who are actually there to nurture, encourage you. And I feel like it's more authenticity that they will actually call you out on your shoes, whereas maybe groups you've been with before just won't. And again, that's not, it's not having people in our lives that challenge us. And perhaps that's something you are seeking. as I'm saying that, it's like feels as though just being a bit more challenged in areas of your life. Because again, you could, with this past tense, it's like, things are great, they're good, okay, but maybe there's just something missing there, there's something of lack, and this is what's really awakening within you, of realizing that. Now, do you feel like something to do with people, finding a different, something of value within people? I hope that makes sense for you. I do feel like you are physically moving, whether this be to travel, go on holiday, or move home, move hometown, move in with somebody. It could be that you are moving into somebody again who's just very different to perhaps what you are used to. I feel as though it's an exciting time. Like really, the whole Chariot card's giving me excitement because it's like all new in a positive way. And again, it takes you here with this Fool. If you're going to go from like the Wheel of Fortune saying, hey, look, you are the one who's creating the way your life goes. So perhaps you have never lived with somebody before, whether it be a lover, a friend, something like you haven't lived with them. It's scary. It's saying take the risk. But it's saying because you'll see this person's going places with you. They are going to next level you. They're going to help you evolve in areas where you have just not even explored, in terms of evolving yourself and growing in that area. Maybe it's fears, maybe it's just been that has not been your priority, but I definitely feel that this is a very positive thing for you. And again, next leveling you. And again, I feel whatever this is that is awakening inside of you, whether it be spiritual, where it's literally like, whoa, hey, what's going on? All awakenings are spiritual, but some people have it in their life purpose is a very spiritual journey where we start thinking of star seeds and all that kind of thing. Might not be for you. You might literally be your awakening to the fact that, hey, I actually want to be in a relationship with somebody. I want to grow old as somebody. Now, I've been in relationships, but I haven't moved in with them. I've never committed to them properly. This is scary. But it's good. It's taking you places. And you already, as well, with this wisdom behind you, I feel as though like you're really expanding yourself. But perhaps as well, if this is in time of a partner, is they have a whole lot of experience in this area that can help you because they've done it before. They know how to be a bit more compassionate to somebody who hasn't, or they know how to lead the way. It's like, actually, I'll just add this in very quickly. It's like when we lose our virginity, right? Sorry if you haven't already, but this could be insightful for you. It's like we're scared, we're nervous or anxious. Now, if it's with somebody who has already, that can make us feel even more self-aware, like, oh my God, they've experienced, and you can think negatively on that in the sense of it makes you feel inadequate, right? They know what they're doing, you don't. What if you look stupid? What if you're not good enough? What if someone else is better because they were experienced, the last person they were with? You can overthink these things. However, from the experienced person's perspective, they just know what to expect, so they know how to guide you. It doesn't matter that you're not. They actually think that that they're actually very supportive of you because, again, they've been you before. They've been the you, and they've been the experience. They know that it's actually, even if it's rubbish the first time, it's not the last time. If you're in a committed relationship, this is not going to be the last time. Whatever happens that first time, it's just something you go through together. When you're building something with someone, it really truly isn't, they don't mind that the other person, actually half the time, that is what we love about another person, is their little insecurities are what makes them so lovable and cute. Now, as them being your own insecurities, you don't feel that way, but it's not about you in terms of what that other person experiences and feels, and that's when we need to get out of our head and be the fool and realize that we can make a fool of ourselves and still be loved and actually be loved for that. And I think that's a really good thing for you to realize in whatever area that you are taking this next step, and realizing that no matter what you do, you will be approved, you will be accepted. This is very positive reading saying you're moving towards great things. Take those leaps. I hope that makes sense to you, Virgo. I'm sorry if I did repeat things or didn't continue when I skipped off because I was interrupted by my 3-year-old crying, and I had to see to him because he got hurt by his older brother. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe to my channel. Head over to TikTok for a smaller reading, and possibly on my Facebook as well if I get the time to upload those. But yeah, doing the things a little bit different, shaking it up. So please subscribe to my channel to keep up to date for any future things. I am having a little play about with things, see what works for me. I will be moving. Finally have like a date in line when I've been moving, so maybe No, I won't quite be moving in the next video, but in the one after that, I will be finding new space and trying to figure out how to work it into my new space. So thank you guys. Please keep in touch. See you next month.